So, you want great abs. Well, who doesn't? Wouldn't it be great to be able to take your shirt off at the beach, at the pool, for your wife or your girlfriend or your husband or your boyfriend or whatever? Today I'm going to show you 3 exercises that I use in my routine in conjunction, of course, with a full workout program to shred my abs. The good news is that for today's exercises, all you will need is access to either a med ball, a jam ball, or some sort of implement that weighs 10 pounds. The other 2 exercises, body weight only. Now, of course, before we get started, it's important to understand that having lower body fat percentage brings out your abs. Everybody has abs, and we all know that, but if you've got a layer of fat around your midsection, they're probably not going to show. Now, that being said, dropping your body fat with good, healthy nutrition habits and consistent training is going to be key in lowering your body fat and keeping the body fat off, and of course, bringing out the abdominals. Now, here's the cool part. Anyone can do it if you fully commit and put your mind to it. Simply make smart choices with your nutrition, train consistently with purpose. And remember what I always say, look at what you're about to eat or drink and make a conscious decision if it's going to help you or hurt you. The guy who misses more days than he trains isn't going to make the most progress. Now, you can spend all day on the 3 exercises that I'm about to show you, but if your body fat is not low enough, you're going to have to do some work. All right, enough talk. Let's get to it. So if you want great abs, it is imperative that you work the entire abdominal region. That's not just the main abdominal wall, the rectus abdominis. We've got transverse abdominis, internal oblique, external oblique, serratus, a ton of muscles in the abdominal region, so you have to make sure that you work all of them if you want unbelievable abs. The first exercise we're going to do, the main target, is the main abdominal wall, your rectus abdominis, and you will get the serratus anterior, this nice little muscle, the boxer's muscle. So when you punch in, you'll see that muscle flare out. This works that as well. The key with this exercise is to make sure that you maintain a pelvic tilt, and that means taking your hips and pulling them up towards your belly button and holding that position the entire exercise. This is one of my favorite exercises of all time, the plank press up. There are 2 ways we can start this exercise: in full push-up plank position or in forearm plank position. Either way, hands are positioned about 6 inches apart, and that may vary depending on your range of motion, your flexibility, and your strength. We're going to take our pelvis and tuck up towards our belly button. We're going to drop down into forearm plank position, so my abs are locked and fully engaged. From this position, I want to press the floor away from me. So I'm going to press up at the same time. My hips come up with my shoulders. I'm on my tiptoes, and then I drop back down to floor gently. So take your hands, press them into the floor, press the floor away from you, and lock into your abdominals. Again, we get triceps engagement, and we also get lat engagement, and we get full on abdominal engagement. Second exercise, main target, the obliques. So if you're looking to get rid of the love handles, this is one of the exercises for you. For this exercise, we're going to turn on our side. I've got my shoulder lined up with my wrist. My feet are staggered. So you can see I've got a staggered position. That's going to allow me to get a little bit more power and drive deeper into the oblique. This is the side plank punch. So what I want to do here is I want to take my fist and I want to press it into the floor. So I get it pressed into the floor. That's going to engage my obliques even further. So push into the floor. I'm going to rotate slowly like I'm pulling a weed trimmer, and I'm going to press straight up to the ceiling, and I'm going to punch. Return back to start, rotate, press up. You can flex your quads, flex your glutes, and you'll see the abdominals contract even harder. So when I contract my glutes, boom, abdominals contract harder. So contract everything, especially the underside. This is where I'm really doing the majority of my work. My main abdominal wall is also contracted, but the majority of the work comes from the obliques closest to the floor. Remember your purpose when you do these exercises. So if I tell you it's an oblique exercise, concentrate on the obliques. If I tell you it's a main abdominal wall exercise, focus and concentrate on the main abdominal wall. Now, of course, with any exercise that we do unilaterally, that's one side at a time, you have to make sure that you do the opposite side as well. So don't forget. Okay, last but not least, this is what I was talking about earlier where I said you're gonna need some sort of 10-pound implement. This is a 10-pound jam ball. You can use a med ball. You can use a dumbbell if you want. Anything that weighs about 10 pounds because we don't want too much weight for this exercise. The idea is not to get the abdominals to bulge out, but to get them to stay nice and tight. So this is my version of the Russian twist. Two ways you can do this. Feet up in the air, or you can do them with feet pinned to the floor. I personally prefer to pin my feet to the floor, so I take my heels and I drive them into the floor. This gives me a bit more stability and allows me to drive more tension into my abdominals without worrying about having my legs sway from side to side. Now, this exercise will also engage your hip flexors, so be aware. You may get real tired in your hip flexors, and that's okay. If you have to, set back, let them release, and then restart. So I want you to start this exercise by leaning back until you find a position that you can barely hold. My knees are bent, my heels are pinned to the floor. I'm then gonna take my hips and I'm gonna tuck them up towards my belly button. So I've taken my hips, tucked them up towards my belly button. I've got a solid position now. And then I'm gonna rotate the ball off to the side. My shoulders are gonna move at the same time. So my left shoulder and my right shoulder move at the same time, ton of tension in the abdominal area. And then I'm gonna rotate it back to the other side. You can either keep a forward gaze like I am now. If you want, you can also look to the side, look to the side. So we can go with a faster pace. You'll see my legs, one bends, the other extends. Bend, extend, bend, extend. And then faster, we can go as fast as we want, as long as we can maintain position. Absolutely magnificent. I don't know about you, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. Abs are pumped and primed, ready to go. Now, as far as rep scheme, I like to get anywhere between 12 and 20 repetitions of the plank press up, and then immediately go straight into the side plank punch. Same, 12 to 20 reps per side, don't forget the other side, and then immediately into the Russian twist. I like to get anywhere between 15 and 25 complete rounds. That means anywhere between 30 and 50 total rotations. Get done with all three. Rest anywhere between 1 and 3 minutes, depending on how fatigued your abdominals are, and then repeat that anywhere between 3 and 5 times. Now, like I said earlier, you can do these exercises all day long. If you don't get your body fat down nice and low, you will not see your abdominal. You all know I like to keep my body fat low year-round. That way I can take my shirt off at any given moment. That's always been my goal. I don't want to have to say, you know what, I'm not ready to take my shirt off. I always want to be ready. But again, that's just me. Everyone's goals are different. So define your goals and then pick a path that leads you to those goals. And of course, remember, it is a combination of nutrition and exercise, not just one, not just the other. You can exercise all day long. If you don't have great genetics and you eat like crap, you're probably not gonna look great. Now, on the flip side, if your nutrition is great and your exercise habits are not, you probably won't see the results that you want. Become a jack of all trades and try to master as many of those trades as you can. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next week.